If you want to make progress in any area of life, you have to put time into what you're doing. We get dopamine from social media, from scrolling, but that's fake dopamine, right? You get dopamine from achieving a task. That's one of the greatest forms of dopamine. If you had a to-do list and you got everything done, how good would you feel?
Is there any connection to quality of sleep to fat loss?
Absolutely. You get the best ideas when you do a savage cardio workout because you're pushing your body to the max. You start questioning and thinking differently because you're not just in a general state, experience the same things every day. People get numb to it. They pay less attention, right? So then when you do something that's really hard, and that's one of the reasons why you should do hard things every day, because it will challenge you and that will change your brain. Humans learn via creation, not by consumption. Or if you read a book, but you didn't create anything from it, you didn't learn. Like I said, you just entertained yourself. So if you focus on whatever you learn, take an action and create something from it.
Byron Munford is back. This man has helped over 1,000 business owners reclaim their health. And today we're going to go further. We're busting myths of, do you have enough time to work on yourself or not? And jab or no jab is the question. So we're going to cover all of that in this episode. So Byron, welcome back. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Brad. Pleasure to be here. Great to see you again.
Yes. Yeah. Well, last one was such a great episode and got some good reviews and such on it. It was really helpful. So I thought it was just a no-brainer, really, to get you back in and dig a bit deeper into some things that's happened recently, you know. Yeah. So who do you think is coming to you right now and what do you think they're struggling with, given everything, the pressure and so on?
Yeah. So my own personal clients, you mean?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So business owners, parents, entrepreneurs, people who are working hard, they're time strapped, but they're unhappy in their health. You know, they're succeeding in their life and their business, they're doing well, but they're unhappy in their health, how they look, how they perform, and they want help. So either they're time poor, not sure how to fit it in, they're unsure how to structure it, they're unhappy with how they look in the mirror. You know, they want more, they want to be able to focus more because nowadays people are really struggling to focus. We're surrounded by things that are constantly grabbing our attention. We're not actually focusing on really what we want or what we could be. If we maximize our body and our performance of what we can really do as humans, people are really limiting themselves by just overly using social media. And obviously we have to for our business, right? I do as well. But you've got to know when to prioritize certain aspects of your life. And if you don't invest any time into your health and fitness, what does your future look like? That's the question I would ask yourself.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned about distractions and such, because do you think it's got worse? Do you think there's more? Yeah. Yeah. And then also it creates a bit of a conundrum, as you say, because for business owners, and if you're trying to promote a product or a service, it seems that if you think about it, if people are distracted by social media because they're on social media more, well, where do you want to advertise? On social media. So you have to go on, then you check numbers, set things up. So it's funny you mentioned that. So how do you manage that then? How do you manage that sort of like, do you have a strict policy or, only 30 minutes a day, or how do you manage that?
That's a great question. Do you mean my own personal scrolling? Or
yes. Well, a bit of both. Bit of both, because I don't know about you, and I'm sort of like quite, I tend to be quite strict-ish. But sometimes something catches your eye, isn't it? And then you're off.
Well, I think it depends on your priorities, right? Yeah. And what you have to get done. So I have a schedule I'll create for the day and the week of what I want to get done in a certain time. If I have dead time or on the weekend and I don't have anything to do, I might do a little bit. But to be honest, I would limit it to 20, 30 minutes a day max. I mean, that would be over the course of the whole day. But I would be on it more because I'm messaging potential clients, helping people on social media. So occasionally you catch a little bit, but I would focus on, right, what is my task for the hour? What do I need to get done? What's wasting my time, right? At the end of the day, if you want to make progress in any area of life, whether that's business, health and fitness, being a better parent, you have to put time into what you're doing. So you don't invest time into what you want, you won't get the result, right? So it's just structuring your day to know, what can I realistically do and what do I want to get done in the day? We get dopamine from social media, from scrolling, but that's fake dopamine, right? You get dopamine from achieving a task. That's one of the greatest forms of dopamine. If you had a to-do list and you got everything done, how good would you feel? That's what amazing. I focus on doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good way to put it. And because so many people say, oh, we're too busy, we can't possibly fit in a workout or anything like that. But I think it's a bit of a, I don't know, this is my view, and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think it's a bit of a mindset thing, because everyone's busy. Everybody is busy. But it depends on what you put in your, like you say, your hours of the day, depending on what's actually you're going to get out of the bottom of it, or the end of it. And so for me, sometimes I think I go overboard with my workouts, because I think really I should drop that a bit, because I've really got to focus a bit on the business.
What are you doing that you think is too much?
Oh, I work out about 9 times a week.
But when you say 9 times a week, how does that look, and how long are the sessions?
So I would do. So I've got into like a bit of high rocks about a year ago,
Right, yeah.
and so there's a particular place near me that has a really awesome class. Like, it really pushes me to like, beyond my max. Really, it's just crazy. So I do that on a Monday, but then I do a bit of zone 2 run on a Monday to about 45 minutes, and on a Tuesday I do weights. Then on a Wednesday I do weights in the morning, and swim in the evening. Then Thursday I'll do another High Rocks class, which is engine, which is more cardio based, more machine based. Friday I do weights. Saturday in the morning spin, and then weights in the weights and then a spin. But in that weight session, I would vary between upper body, lower body, overall, and lower body, and that's kind of how I split up my workouts.
So you're doing 4 to 5 times a week of weights?
Four.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a new program. I've only just fine tuned it to that over the last 2 weeks.
Well, the way I'd measure it is how much progress are you making and what you're doing, in the weights you're lifting, in the sets you're doing, the technique. And that's how you measure if you're doing too much or not. Like, if you can't make progress, it could be you're not recovering, like sleep, nutrition, etc. But a lot of the time it's progressive overload, one of the best principles you can learn, like which is progressively lifting more over time. Or if you're going to run, can you run faster over time? Are you regularly running better? That's how you're going to measure it, right? And if you're not doing that, then look at, well, you cut the fat, right? Where am I doing too much? But, you tell me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's quite balanced in a sense that, I am making progress, and certainly like the weight sessions, I use this app, so it measures my progression each week or each 2 weeks, so I see that going up, and what used to be hard would now probably be a lot easier, so I can up it a little bit. Good. And then the zone 2, how I monitor that is the pace, like how, if I do 45, 60 minutes, what pace am I at? Still in the zone 2. Ideally, the pace should be getting faster, because now it's easier for me. Yeah. So that's kind of how I measure it, and I'm finding that it is going in that direction. But then the reason I don't ramp it up too much is because I'll wait for an event, and then when I wait for an event, I'll start adding some serious numbers to it. So I was doing heavier lifting for a while, and then in the last 2 weeks I've gone sort of like lighter weights but higher reps, just to kind of change it up a little bit. Yeah. But then once I was getting an event back on, I'll then go back to heavy and lower reps.
Okay. And in the weights you're doing, are you making progress?
Yeah. I'm 2 weeks into this new program now, which is lighter weights, higher reps. And then the zone 2 is back on, because I've had an injury for 2 months, so I couldn't run.
Really? An injury?
So it was on my what's it called? What's that bone that David Beckham broke? Metatarsal.
Right.
But I had a fracture, just a slight fracture on 2 and 3. Yeah, just like it was a strain, like on just overuse apparently, just running a lot.
That's where I look at your training body.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, I was running 3 times a week at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be also the miles, because running 3 times a week is fine, but how far are you running in that time?
Yeah, well, I was training for the high rocks at the moment. I was trying to get the time, so I was doing like zone 2, then long distance, and then intervals. That was my splits for the week, and then of course everything else.
Yeah.
And then it started to give me quite a bit of niggling pain towards the high rocks. I was like, well, I'm too late in the game now. I've just got to go through it. And then I thought, when I'm done, I'll then rest for a while. And it's only just gone, and I'm just gently brought back into zone 2. But I'll keep it at that for a while.
So essentially it's a stress fracture, right?
Yeah. Okay.
That tells me you were doing too much then.
Yeah.
It could be your supplementation, your nutrition as well. Like, how's your sleep as well? That's a question to ask.
That was something that I looked at, and it was... years ago, I used to be able to survive on 5 hours easy. I was like, that would do me. I'm good. Yeah.
Survive?
Yeah. Well, it was when I was really, really building the business, and it was just non-stop. I would be up at 5 every single morning. It was like a given, up at 5. And then just non-stop. And then I would then be working late into the evening. I would be in bed about 11:45, 11 o'clock. But then, because I got the Whoop thing, you haven't got one anymore. What's going on?
I had it, but I've stopped using it now.
Oh, okay. So I've had mine for years, so I still carry on with that. But as you know, the Whoop actually measures the exact time that you're asleep, not when you get into bed like a Garmin. That a Garmin measures when you get into bed and it calls it sleep from there. Yeah. Whereas the Whoop is a little bit more detailed, isn't it? It tells you exactly how long you're asleep for. So mine was about 5.5 hours on the Whoop gauge. And then more recently, I just thought, you know what? Turn of this year, I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to listen to what the Whoop is telling me now. Okay. And then it was like, okay, you need 11 hours sleep tonight. Well, I'd never get 11 hours sleep. I mean, 11 hours sleep on a 13. But yeah, so I thought, all right, let me try and decrease that sleep debt. And then after a while, I just started seeing that 7 hours was my prime, and I thought, you know what, and I felt better. I was able to perform better, even in podcasts or meetings or presentations, business, just even one-to-one coaching with my team. I was able to answer questions a lot better because you're just more focused.
Of course.
And then it just all fell into place. And okay, fine, sometimes it drops down to 6, but then you think, okay, fine, 7 is my optimum. Do you know what I mean? I try and get to 7 if I can every single night.
So what was your deep and REM sleep like?
So I went to Dubai. We're covering all the questions here, but yeah.
Skipping ahead, mate.
We are skipping ahead.
Okay.
So I then went to Dubai. It's more about me, isn't it? But no, I went to Dubai in February, and I met up with a friend of mine over there, and he told me about these supplements that he would take in at night time. And don't worry, it's all clean. I think it's all clean. And it was like magnesium, theanine, and is it glycinate?
Magnesium glycinate.
Glycinate, yeah. So he was taking those individually though. Yeah. So it was like a magnesium high dose, 300 milligrams, and then it was like is it glycinate?
Glycinate, yeah. There's loads of different forms of magnesium.
Okay. So anyway, so I then came back, and there was another one which he said, but then when I researched it, it said it's actually it can make you like hormonal and not hormonal, but like emotional and play with your emotions a little bit. It was quite a strong one. I can't remember.
Ashwagandha?
What was it again?
Ashwagandha?
I think it probably was. That does sound familiar.
That can tamper with your emotions.
Yeah. And he said that he takes these 4 supplements every single night, and it was a game changer because it used to take me a long time to go to sleep. And I would be like, I'd lay in bed. It was like just a given. It was 45 minutes. About 45 minutes it would take me to finally drift off. So I was like, and my REM sleep was about 1 hour over that course of about 6.5 hours. And then I took these supplements, game changer. I didn't take the strong one. I only took the 3 because I was like, okay. I think the next one was like, if you're really stressed, high anxiety and all that sort of stuff. And I don't really have that. So I was like, well, I won't really dabble with that because I don't want to, open up a can of worms. So I'll just stick with what's a cleaner approach, or what our research had told me it was a cleaner approach. So I then took those 3, literally the second night, once it's in the system, game changer. I'm falling asleep in like 10 minutes.
So what was your REM sleep and deep sleep then?
Oh, it went up to like 2 hours, really? 2 and a bit hours. Yeah. It just changed, like literally overnight. It was literally, this first night was nice. It was a game changer. But the second night was when it really started to take effect. Mm-hmm. And now I don't go to bed without them now. I just rely on them now.
So you have magnesium, L-theanine, and what else?
And is it glycinate?
Well, magnesium glycinate is the...
So there's 2. So there's a powder version of it that I put in a drink. And then what I do is I take the magnesium tablets and the theanine tablets with this drink. And it has is it glycinate powder version.
You know what the brand is called?
Oh, no, I can't remember. I've done the research into it, and I spoke to a guy who's been on the podcast. He was Osteo Strong, and he knows all about that. Yeah. And he recommended these 3 brands I should take, and he said they're like just the cleanest. Not like I'll be able to tell you after them, but I'll have to look at the pictures. I sent them to my friend, and it was just a complete game changer for me. And then that took me to another level of really focusing on my sleep. The numbers, because straight away you asked me what's your REM and deep sleep. So okay, well, then I start researching into that, and I'm like, that's a game changer, Absolutely. Yeah. So all of this sort of stuff, and I've got to say, and if anyone is listening that's just thinking poo-pooing the idea of sleep, and I know there's so much spoken about it nowadays, but I can, for one, can say that if you pay attention to it, it really is a game changer. Like, it's just insane. Even the way you talk and the way you think. If I've had a poor night's sleep, I'm mumbling my words. Sometimes I can't even think of an answer that I really know. And I'm like, I know this. Why can't I think of this? Yeah. And I look at it and I'll be like in the red, or I'll be having like a really bad night's sleep or something. So now, since I've paid a lot of attention to that and got some, habits, like a prep thing the night before. Yeah. Prep, what's it called?
Routine.
So yeah, routine. They're talking about remembering words. A routine. It's just been an absolute game changer for me because of just some of the stuff that I've experienced. So you read about it, you think, oh, that sounds good. I must implement that at some point. But I did it immediately, and I immediately saw the results. Yeah. Take action. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it was just, so it's a real big thing for me. So that was a game changer. So I think that probably contributes to the fact that I can perhaps work out the way I do. But also, it's obviously about numbers. Definitely about numbers and what you can get from it, because you want to see progression. But also, I find it helps me if I work out or go for a run. Sometimes I work out with people or in a class. Yeah. But there are a couple of times in a week where I'm working out on my own, and literally my brain is like just flying around. I have to stop every now and then and take notes, because now my brain is really active. I'm thinking about all the things happening in the day or going to happen in the day or whatever, and I'm coming up with all the answers or ideas. So I'm
doing cardio.
No. That's sometimes during a run. Yeah. So when I finish the run, I have to at the end of the run I have to stop. Right, no one talk to me. Let me quickly write this down. Yeah.
Do you know what I've found is, from my own personal experience and training with clients, is I found that you get the best ideas when you do a savage cardio workout, when you really expend your energy, because you're pushing your body to the max. And when you experience something in life that's more emotional, you start questioning and thinking differently, because you're not just in a general state. Like when you're walking around day to day, you're going to think everything's so normal. Like you experience the same things every day. People get numb to it. They pay less attention, right? So then when you do something that's really hard, and that's one of the reasons why you should do hard things every day, because it will challenge you and that will change your brain. Like the only way to really get neuroplasticity, which is the brain changing itself, is do things that are more extreme or outside your comfort zone, because otherwise your brain won't pay attention to it. Like for example, if you can deadlift 150 kilos, picking up 80 kilos is like, well, come on, that's baby weight, right? It's not hard for you. Or if you run, let's say your 5K is what time, for example?
Well, my fastest is 19:10, but
nice.
Now it's about 24.
Okay, but if you were running with someone that's running a 30-minute 5K, you're going to be like, come on, mate, I ain't got all day. Not being rude, but it's not interesting.
It's not zone 2.
Exactly. So you need something that's going to challenge you. And when you do stuff that really challenges you, that's why training has to be hard. If it's not hard enough, your brain's not going to pay enough attention. It's not going to have a reason to change. If you want to change, you have to do things that get you out your comfort zone, which everyone knows, right? But it needs to be hard enough. Otherwise, why are you going to change? It's just normal.
That's right.
It needs to be stressful enough. Like obviously you want to manage stress, but if you don't have anything stressful, you'll never change.
Well, that's sort of like getting out your comfort zone, isn't it, to progress?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just exactly that. And but I think that in any walk of life or in anything in life, though, isn't it? It's the same thing, because even in business, like once your business plateaus a little bit, you've got to really push the boundaries and then, go for something that perhaps you might think might make you a bit uneasy, but you just got to go for it. Yeah. And then, like you say, you're going to grow with that. Whether you win or you lose on it, at least you've given it a go and you've learned from the lessons and so on. And you can take that on to the next step. So yeah, it's like when you use your example of lifting. If you try and lift 155 and you're at 150 and you feel a tweak or something, you think, okay, fine, I've given it a go. Okay, let me just practice 151. Do you know what I mean? And it kind of progresses.
Small marginal gains.
Exactly, that's it. Yeah, definitely. But then because you've pushed yourself, like you say, you've got yourself out of that comfort zone. I think that's imperative for any growth of any kind, really. So, what do you think when someone let's go on to supplements then. So on supplements, so I'm talking about my great experience with the sleep. You also mentioned supplements earlier on, perhaps with my training and such. What supplements do you think are good and not so good that perhaps...
Oh, it's a real loaded question.
The mainstream is like saying, these are brilliant. And then actually, no, not really.
So I'm going to be annoying here, but it really depends on your goal.
Okay.
The situation you're in life and your experience with training, right? So I always say, if you haven't got your ducks in a row, you shouldn't be worrying about supplements. And by that, I mean, if you're not sleeping properly, if you're not exercising consistently and training hard, if you're not taking care of your nutrition and you're not progressively eating better, eating enough protein, controlling your calorie intake, whether you track it or not, if you control your calorie intake, you'll have a better life because your body will need some kind of caloric restriction. It's showed that, if you want to live a longer period of time, caloric restriction will work well for you. And obviously, if you just eat freely all the time, you don't really have any idea of being full up or being hungry because you're just over consuming food. So if you never control any of those aspects, you don't really know what's what. So all you're doing is adding fuel to the fire by taking more supplements that you don't know. You don't even understand your body first. Yeah. If you understand your body, then you'll be able to make it feel better first. Get the most out of the basics before you think about other supplements, right? I will answer your question properly, but I just wanted to preface that first.
Yeah.
Because
no, a question on the back of that as well.
Go on.
So the caloric capability or maximum that you should be taking in or restricting that. Because I suppose, and just to break it down a little bit more, I suppose if you're getting something, let's say you're getting really high protein or really high carb, and you go and take a supplement that actually enhances that protein or carb that you're already getting loads of in your food, then you're getting more of one thing and not so much in another. Is that what you mean? So if you track it or you have an idea of what's coming in, at least you can keep that balance so you're kind of feeding it as you should be, in a sense?
It's more a case of getting what your body needs, and if you can't get it naturally, you might need to supplement. And if you're not eating enough of certain foods or getting enough sunlight, you might need vitamin D, for example, which is one of the supplements I would recommend. So I would say it's more about what do you actually need versus what does the media want you to have. That's the big distinction. Because if you go on social media and you type in supplements or Google or ChatGPT, whatever you're using, you can then go, right, what supplement should I take for X? And it will give you so many. You could take all of them, but do you actually need that? Or do you want to find out what will actually benefit you, what you actually are deficient in, which you can get tests for? I work with clients to help them understand what they actually need, look through their diet. You can look through what you're already getting plenty of vitamins and minerals from, and then go, right, do I actually need that? Where do I have an actual deficiency versus I'm just using the social media hype and the marketing hype? One of the worst things I see, people might hate me for this, but if you go into Holland and Barrett, don't. Because some of the supplements in there
don't go into Holland and Barrett.
Shocking. Yeah.
Oh, really?
They'll get you on the penny sale and the buy one, get one free. But if you look at the quality of what you're getting there and the amounts you get per dose, it's shocking, honestly, compared to what you can find from good, reputable brands. A lot of time in supplements, you do get what you pay for. There are some cheaper ones that you can get that are going to be more bang for your buck, but a lot of them are going to sell you just marketing hype. There are some valuable ones. So I'll give you some ones that I personally use, would recommend to everyone. And again, it would really depend on your goal. So I'd have to understand someone's scenario first. It would be like, for example, if you got a car and you go to a mechanic and you go, fix my car. And he goes, well, I don't know what's wrong with it. You've got to figure out, I've got to do an assessment, I've got to do MOT, service, whatever.
Yeah.
Figure out what's wrong with it. Then I can go, right, you need X, Y, and Z. Yeah. That's what I help clients do. So I'd go, right, okay, what are you eating? How are you sleeping? How do you feel when you do this? Once I figure that out, I can then go, right, you need this, this, and this.
Well, it's like a diagnostic report, isn't it? You're kind
Exactly.
of digging deep a little bit, under the hood, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of what I'd recommend, creatine's a no-brainer, just because of the cognitive benefits that you get, as well as muscle mass and strength and power, which even if you're female, you're probably thinking, oh, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. But that's not what happens, trust me. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. Ask any guy. But it will help you massively with your daily output and your muscle contraction as well. So I would highly recommend creatine. A big one is going to be vitamin D3, which I'll supplement with K2 as well because they work together. So K2 is for bone density as well, which is very important if you're aging. If you're over 40, 50, 60, you should really be taking K2. Yeah.
K2, okay, that's a good one.
So vitamin D3 and K2 work together synergistically. if you're getting enough sunlight, you shouldn't need vitamin D3, but I would definitely get vitamin D levels tested because a lot of people are chronically low. And I work with clients from typically like African and Asian populations tend to have quite low vitamin D from my experience working with clients. So I'd recommend getting your levels tested to find out what they are. And that my girlfriend's recently had pretty low vitamin D results. So I recommended her get some. If you can get 10 to 20 minutes of sun per day, that will be all you need if you're actually outside in the sun. And that will get your vitamin D levels covered if you're absorbing it properly. If you're not, you might need to top it up. And if it's a cloudy day, because we live in the UK, right? We've been blessed with sun over the last sort of few weeks, but recently it's dropped off.
Yeah,
this week.
in the main it isn't that sunny.
Yeah, it generally isn't. So then you would need to spend longer outside, more like 30 to 60 minutes to get enough vitamin D, right? Enough exposure to light, which also helps your energy levels, right? Which is one of the 6 pillars of health.
Yes.
Your circadian rhythm. If you don't see the sun enough or any light per day, your brain won't know when to get up and when to go to sleep because it needs to see light. It's the same way your eyes will work is through light. Yeah. So like if you go to Vegas, for example, you've been to Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
You are energized all day, all night. Yeah. It's like crazy because it's just so exciting, lights and scenery, and you just want to do things all the time. But then afterwards you get a massive come down because you never get this, the up and the down of the night and the day, right?
Yeah.
So you need that to actually get proper sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's so the K2. What does the K2 do again?
It helps your bones, builds bone density.
The bones, because there was this thing that I was reading, and it made total sense. It was that the fact that with age, there's been a lot more talk, isn't there, about this weightlifting or resistance training.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes total sense where they said, like, try and did it, 2-3 times a week and so on, because the muscles support the bones and that supports your structure and all that throughout your later years in life.
Yeah.
But that's been quite new, isn't it? Like, or not new, but newish, really. Don't you think? Or I suppose you want to say, no, I knew it from 5 years old.
It's a funny question because people say this to me and I say the same thing about fasting because fasting's been around forever.
Yeah.
During Ramadan, people have fasted for years, right?
Yeah.
So things like that have been around for a long time. It dates back to like the Romans and the Greeks that were lifting stones and lifting heavy stuff, right?
Okay.
It's been around for a long time. It's just more, you see it more because you're on social media more and you see more influencers, you see more people that are promoting fitness, coaching, etc. So you realize it's a thing. If you never went to the cinema, you never see films unless you watched it on TV, right? But now people don't even go to cinema. They just watch Netflix or watch things online or YouTube. You don't need to. So it's what you're exposed to all the time. If you're exposed to it, I'm obviously in the environment, and to me it just made sense and it was just natural to me. Some people wouldn't get into that until they were forced to. So let's say if you then got a age-related condition or you got a osteopenia, osteoporosis or something else where you had to train, you would then go, right, I need to do this. But my attitude's always been the classic saying of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I'd much rather be proactively doing it than wait till I'm screwed and go, oh, I should probably fix this now. Call the doc.
Yeah. Because at that time, the results are going to take so much longer to show, aren't they?
Yeah. One big thing I tell clients all the time that are on the edge about, should I do this now? Or, I'm really tired. I'm busy. I'm like, right, if you're 40 now, in your honest opinion, is it going to be harder or easier in the next 10 years to change?
Well, it's going to be a lot harder, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're better off just starting. It's like Rob's book, Start Now, Get Perfect Later.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shout out to Rob Moore.
Yeah.
Great book.
It is. Yeah.
Overcoming the Art of Procrastination. And that's one of the biggest problems people have now. And it's always been that way, but it's more understood, procrastination now, and why we procrastinate, that we're just putting things off. And ultimately, when you think about procrastination, bit of a tangent here, but I read a book called, what was it called? It's by Tim Grover, Relentless.
Ah, yes.
Great book.
It is.
Great book. I love Tim Grover.
Yeah.
Powerful voice.
Yeah.
And he talks about procrastination. Procrastination is just, in simple terms, putting off a decision, which you have to do, right? And the best athletes in the world would be the most instinctive. Same for business owners. They'll just make decisions faster because they know deep down they have to do it. They have to make a decision, whether that's fire someone, hire someone, do the hard thing, right? That's a natural response. And at some point, you have to make a decision anyway. And normally what happens is you do what you first thought of anyway. So you may as well just do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
And the people that do that, like, for example, someone like Elon Musk would be insane at that in his brain, because he just go, right, if I do this, I get that. Okay, cool. I do this.
Yeah.
Because it's
a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Done.
It takes out the anxiety, the worry, decision making. You just make a faster decision. You know, if you're a boxer, someone throws a punch at me, move, hit him back. Yeah. Don't sit there and think about it. You're going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
Right? So it's being more instinctive and knowing that you have to do this if you want to change. So at some point, you may as well just bite the bullet and start, because otherwise it's going to be much harder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you reckon that people use that same like procrastination towards committing to a workout plan when they say, I'm too busy, haven't got enough time, I'm a parent? Partly. I would say part of that's time.
Yeah. And understanding how much time you have and where you spend your time. A couple of things I'll say on that. So the first thing is you've got 168 hours in a week. Look at how you spend them. Actually do an audit on yourself. One thing a mentor made me do once, which I hated, but it worked really well, so I'd encourage everyone to do that, is I would jot down what you do every 30 minutes of the day for a week. Whether that's you looking at a wall, you're on the toilet scrolling, as embarrassing it is, just write that down and look at your week and see what it is you do. See where you spend your time. Then you see your gaps. Most people will never do that because they're like, oh, that's boring, that's long. Okay, fine. Stay the same. You know, if you don't want to put the time into it to figure out where you're actually spending your time, how are you going to expect to change that, right? Because I always say the first step to change is awareness. If you're not aware of what you're doing, how are you going to change it? Like if you know that you recognize that you became tired and you mumbled your words when you didn't sleep enough. So you changed that. You became aware. If you're not aware, you won't change it. So if you track things, people hate to track.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at
I
first.
think it reveals some truths, doesn't it?
Part of that is understanding who you really are, what you really do, and do you do what you say or do you do what you want? They're not the same thing, right? If you do what you say, like I'm going to be on time, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this food, whatever, you're keeping promises to yourself. And one of the best ways to trust yourself is stack evidence that you can do it. So you continuously keep your promises, your brain will trust you. He goes, right, Byron, get up today. What am I going to do? Right, I'm going to make my eggs. I'm going to warm up. I'm going to train. I'm going to do some work. And every single day you build that habit. And your brain loves you because it goes, I trust you. If you constantly say you'll do something and you go against it, or you scroll for ages, or you do some bad things, you start drinking, you go crazy, like you're just repeating that behavior, and your brain learns that that is who you are. You know, unless you change that, you will be the same person over and over and over again.
I think some people look at themselves as something different, and if it's, let's say for instance, if you had a friend that acted like you really act towards yourself, letting yourself down, keeping your own promises, you probably wouldn't hold that friendship in high regard, or probably even if it lasted much longer after that, or after it kept happening.
Yeah.
But with yourself, you can't break the friendship. You're stuck, you know? So it is quite true when you say that, like, it compounds. So if you can do something, if you promise yourself, look at yourself as two entities, isn't it? Okay, I want to be this person. How do I get to be that person? Keep promises to myself every day. Like you say, get up, you know, cook the good food, make the right decisions, and, you know, warm up, work out, and so on. And then also structure your day. So something on time, I spoke about this yesterday, and so if you said to somebody, I think you'll probably agree with this, if you said to someone, okay, how did you spend your last £100? They'll probably be able to tell you, certainly within a few pounds. But if you said, how did you spend your last 100 hours? They'd maybe be able to recall one or two events. Other than that, it would make up an hour or so, but the rest of it they couldn't locate or recall.
Yeah. Do you know what is a really good, it's kind of a side thing to what you were saying, but a really good thing to understand is if you do scroll on social media, can you recall the last 3-5 posts you looked at? Or did you just doom scroll, consume? Like, do you know what I mean? If you're not,
I've done this test myself.
if you're not actually be able to repeat what you learned, you didn't learn, you just entertained yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a great test of, are you just over consuming or actually learning, right? So the way I would define it is, if you consume something, i.e. watched a video, read a book, whatever, but you didn't take any action, you just entertained yourself. You didn't learn anything, right? You're just watching videos, you're listening to people talking. People sometimes like to think they're learning, but they're just listening to things and it's going in one ear out the other. You're not doing anything about it, right? That's why you said to be about action. That's one of the best things you can do. Take action immediately, even though it's scary. You're like, oh, should I do this? You just take action. Like I said earlier, be more instinctive. Know what you need to do and just do it. And you will make 10 times more progress.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny you mentioned about that thing about, I once read that, or I saw it, I think, on a video, and it said, okay, in the last 10 minutes of scrolling, what can you recall or what can you remember of anything that you've just watched?
Yeah.
And I'd done it once myself, and I stopped, and I stopped myself, and I was like, what did I just watch? Let me try and remember it. And you know what? I couldn't bloody remember. You literally just scroll through it. It was only like a couple of minutes. It wasn't long. It was just quick. I'm like, it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. It's crazy. But then some people could do it for like a very long time. Yeah. Very long time.
And I think that can come from partly things like ADHD, but also just not being true to yourself and what you really want to do, like not having a purpose or a focus. People want to be constantly distracted. And there's a guy called Jim Quick. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's the guy, his story is the boy with a broken brain, right? So he had a story where I think he fell and hit his head. And from that, his memory just rapidly declined. He couldn't remember anything. And his teachers were like, you're broken. He couldn't remember. He was terrible at school. And he went on a journey to heal himself and understand how memory works. Amazing guy. I've seen him speak live several times. I highly recommend him. His book is called Limitless. Really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I would recommend that. And he talks about how we are constantly training ourselves to be distracted. So let's say you wake up and the first thing you do is check Instagram. Part of that could be you're a business owner, right? You're looking for contacts of people. But what you really need to do is check in with yourself first. And when you do that, you understand yourself better about how you actually feel, what you should actually do. Obviously, if you're going to go on social media, check emails or whatever, if you check in with yourself first, you'll regulate your system better. And you can go, right, I'm going to do this at this time for this amount of time, right? You can go on Instagram, check your DMs, whatever you need to do, but do it for a purpose, not because you're just on that vicious cycle. But it's just got you.
It's a bit of strategy to it.
Yeah.
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 With the thing is with that is like, I know some people do enjoy that, and I'm not saying don't do it at all, cut all scrolling out, but like you say, have a bit of a strategy to it. Have like a, like you say, check in with yourself first, some little items that you do beforehand that kind of sets a foundation up to then you can then build upon that time that you've spent doing the right things. And it's almost like David Goggins said, he goes like, earn the rest. Like, earn the nice stuff. So it stuck with me. So I go to the gym and it's got like a nice spa. So you think, do you know what? I'm not going to go anywhere near that spa until I've done a really bloody hard workout. Yeah. And then when I was sitting there, I'm like, I've earned this. And it just feels so much better. So it's almost like if you're scrolling, you think, yeah, I can scroll because I've literally done everything that I wanted to do today. And then you can spend like 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, guilt-free. And I think it feels so much better when you do it in that way,
Yeah, because you program yourself to do, this is what I want to do. If I've achieved my task for the day, great. You don't need to give yourself more tasks, but if you've done what you need to do what you want. That's what life's for, right? But if you don't, you end up in this never-ending cycle where life's just got you by the balls. You just constantly...
And that to-do list is always there.
Yeah, exactly.
Time's going by.
There, right?
Yeah.
And then one other thing that Jim Quick said that just came to mind is humans learn via creation, not via consumption. So, for example, if you read a book, but you didn't create anything from it, you didn't learn. Like I said, you just entertained yourself. So if you focus on whatever you learn, take an action and create something from it. if you're a business owner, create an offer or create something, create a kind of system, something you can do. Like Rob Moore loves his systems, right? Like all these offers and things he's creating constantly, all these different names for things. Create something from what you learn, and you'll actually be using your brain for the purpose it's meant for.
That's really good. So you read something, learn something, and then take action, I suppose, upon it straight away.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Was it Tim Quick?
Jim Quick.
Oh, Jim Quick. Sorry, Jim
Kwik. It's Quick.
Okay, all right.
Really good guy.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
So just going back on the sleep part, just one more question on the sleep part.
Go on.
Is there any connection to quality of sleep to fat loss?
Absolutely.
In which way?
Well, the first two things you got to understand is what would dictate you wanting to eat more food. So you've got ghrelin signaling and leptin signaling. Ghrelin is knowing when you're hungry. Leptin is knowing when you're full. You only regulate these things when you sleep. When you actually get rest, your brain will be able to relax and all your systems will be able to regenerate. And same for insulin sensitivity, which is how well your body tolerates carbs. If you're not insulin sensitive, you can't regulate your blood sugar properly. That's how you go down the diabetes route, right? So you need to be able to regulate your body, regulate your nervous system. Same thing for sleep and the brain. Like there's a system called the lymphatic system, which is the brain's detoxification. Same way that, do you know what the lymphatic system is?
I've heard of it. I don't want to say that I know anything about it.
It's how you get rid of toxins in the body.
Right.
Yeah, so your lymphatic system drains out toxins, which you filter from breathing, movement, drinking water, etc. Right? Exercise really helps. But the glymphatic system with a G is what the brain does at night. It gets rid of waste and it clears out and it regenerates new cells. So if you don't get proper rest, your body can't regenerate itself, right? So if you don't go through that cycle, you won't be able to understand your body. So if you can't understand when you're hungry or when you're full, what do you know? You're just eating for the sake of it. Do you need that food? You don't even know. You're just eating because mum said have breakfast at this time or have cereal for breakfast or whatever. Whatever you learned when you were a kid, you just do. Because you don't actually know when you're full, when you're hungry. So that's the basics of understanding that, right? Another point would be actually getting rest so you feel energized. When you feel energized, you want to exercise. When you exercise, more often than not, you want to eat better because you go, I work really hard. When you see how hard it is to burn 1,000 calories and you eat a pizza and you're like, that took me 5 minutes to eat, 10 minutes to eat. And you're like, was that worth it?
Yeah.
For all that sweat, blood and tears I put in that session, right? So it's knowing the maths for one, but getting your energy and understanding your body is priceless. So why wouldn't you do that?
So take me through two scenarios then. Let's say an average day, just touch point a few parts of someone that perhaps doesn't sleep too well to someone that sleeps really well and takes care and attention to that.
Yeah. So when you say that, you mean an example of
food, results,
yeah,
attitude, that sort of thing for both.
It depends entirely on the person, so it's going to annoy you.
Okay.
Because every person,
what sort of signs would you tend to be looking out for, would you say?
That's a better one.
Okay.
Every single person is different, and some people can tolerate way more than others and not have any problems. A lot of that's genetic variation. So if genetics are on your side, congratulations to you. You're very lucky, but not everyone has that. So you want to focus on, I call it the 3 H's. Yeah. If you wake up and you feel happy, hungry, and horny, your body is in a good state. If you're a man, your testosterone is going to be higher. If you're horny in the morning, libido, morning woods is one of the greatest signs.
Yeah.
Feeling actually hungry, like you want to eat food versus, I've just got to eat breakfast because that's what I do. I've got to run out the door and just grab some food. You don't even feel hungry, right? You're just doing it for the sake of it. Obviously, feeling happy is great as well. If you feel happy naturally, that's because you're rested a lot of the time. It's like if you're grouchy and you're moody, that person needs a nap.
yeah.
Right?
Associated with tiredness a lot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're a great natural test that cost you nothing. There are 3 things that the wearables can't teach you. No matter how much you wear the Whoop and the Oura Ring, they can't teach you that. So I've worn both for a number of time. Like I used the Whoop for a year, Oura Ring for almost 2 years. And they were great and taught me a lot. especially things like alcohol. You don't understand how bad alcohol is for your body until you use that, and you go, wow, okay. See a difference in sleep, especially REM sleep, right? But it can't tell you your own internal signals. And that's what you have to learn by practicing. If you look at your own internal signals and you measure that daily, honestly, watch everything thrive, because you'll feel better and you'll focus on you, not on the external world, which is what most people are focused on. What everyone thinks of them, how many likes they got on social media, you know, just how much money they have in their account, all those things. That's all they're focused on, not how you feel every day. And I always say, yeah, everyone wants money and it's great. You should always strive for financial freedom. But what good is that money if you feel terrible whilst having it? What can you do? Realistically, you know, so you want to have those internal feelings nailed consistently and understand what it is that increases them and what reduces them. Cut out what you don't need, cut the fat, and then keep what you do need.
Yeah. But then imagine if I say, well, I'm not really bothered about my sleep and I want to lose weight, so I'll just take the jab anyway and I'll just lose weight.
Good luck. So is this the jab talk now? We're getting
yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Good segue.
Yeah, I've know a few people that have done it and they've had some good results, not so good results, and then they've stopped and they've had bad results, and so on and so on. Just wanted to get your thoughts on all of that, because I think some people find it as a bit of a real fast way of losing weight, but they don't think of the consequences. They just think, well, I haven't got enough time. This thing's come along. I can lose weight and still I don't have to focus too much on my time. I can carry on with my life.
Yeah, I see the reason behind it. And it's a bit like winning the lottery. You're going to get loads of money, but if you don't know how to save money, invest money, use money, you will not keep money. The amount of millionaires, I don't know, not millionaires, lottery winners, I don't know the stat on it, but it's really high, the amount of people in the first year that lose all the money. Yeah,
it is.
Right?
I don't remember the stat, but I remember,
Exactly. This is the same thing, right? Yeah, you get it instantly. Great. But what happens afterwards? How do you keep it? Why? Because you didn't build the habits. Just a few facts and stats around it, just so you understand. With the weight that's lost, up to 45% of it is muscle mass. So what happens when you lose muscle? Metabolism slows down, you burn less calories at rest, you look weaker, more frail. There's a reason it's called Ozempic face, right? Because you get
all like drawn and
you lose muscle, right? You become weaker. And I would see that as just paying to make yourself look old and frail. Why would you do that? Right? You can actually, if you invest time, and it costs money for Ozempic as well.
Yeah.
I've seen it's like $150 to $300 a month. I know someone that's taken it, and it's quite a bit.
So that's an upkeep, isn't it? If you're going to continue to do that, not take the habits, continue to do that.
You can invest that into coaching. You want to help you, right? Lifestyle revolution. So yeah, that's a great way you can spend the money, right? But in all seriousness, the other studies about the weight that you lose. So after 6 months, over half the weight is usually gained back. It depends on the person. Some people do well at it.
Yeah.
Because they might also build the habits.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm talking about people that are just doing it and not building the habits. They're just doing it for losing the weight and nothing else, right? They're the ones that are going to suffer. And, you know, if you gain half the weight back after 6 months, and I've seen people that gain more than that back after 12 to 18 months. So you gain back more than you actually lost in the first place after that period of time, because you didn't build the habits to keep the weight off, right? You lose muscle mass, you start feeling terrible. If you didn't build enough consistent exercise habits and you didn't eat properly and understand how to eat properly, control your emotional eating, all those factors, you would then go back to what caused that in the first place. So, you know, you can do that, right? You can't tell someone what to do. They'll decide what they want. But think about what's going to happen afterwards. And also think about the mechanism. What does it do? It suppresses appetite. How do you regulate appetite? Understand your ghrelin and leptin signaling. How do you do that? Sleep.
Yeah.
So you have to understand the mechanism behind why plus that equals that.
Yeah.
You know, you understand the cycle of why this happens. Like if you do resistance training, you eat protein, you sleep, you build muscle. It's not rocket science, but it's a cycle. Yeah. So if you understand that, you realize what you're actually doing. You're trying to cut out the middleman. I get that. Everyone wants a quick fix.
Exactly. It's the speed, isn't it? It's the speed, that result.
Speed is great, but are you going to keep it? You know, you can make a lot of money and lose it very fast.
And I think when you mentioned about the muscle mass and, you know, like the habits and building it and so on, I don't know, that would worry me a little bit, you know, because certainly if you've been, from my point of view, like if you've been going to the gym for years and years, and I do track that measure a little bit, you know, their metrics slightly, to see that go down the other way, I'm like, it's taken me years to build that.
Exactly.
You know? So,
this is where I think with women tend to take it more from what I've seen. And obviously a lot of them be like, oh, I don't care about muscle mass. You know, it's fine. I just want to be skinny, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then you get that problem. And it's the debate of, oh, I don't want to do weights anyway because I'll be a bodybuilder, I'll be massive. Yeah, I say that as it's like driving a car, but being afraid to go fast because you think you'll be an F1 driver. It's not quite how it works, right? So if you build muscle, it's the best thing you can do for your longevity. If you want to have a sharper brain, stronger body, look better, feel better, have more energy, like everything in your body takes muscles to contract. Even your eyes have muscles. Yeah, everything's controlled by muscular contraction. So if you don't have muscles that are strong, you're going to struggle to be able to do much in life. You know, I just want people to be able to be competent and capable, and that's what I would empower my clients to do. So when you are feeling stronger, you can do so much more because you feel strong. You know? Yeah. I think with age as well, that gets more imperative, isn't it? I think like more, certainly something that you have to be mindful of, you know, looking out for it. Yeah. You know, so over the 18 years you've been doing it. Yeah.
18 years, eh?
Yeah. I mean, it's been longer now. Yeah. I mean, that's me just coaching, but I've been doing this since I was a little kid, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on.
Has there ever been a point that you've fallen off?
When you say falling off?
Like pretty much out of your habits, thinking, why am I continuing with this? Has there been any doubtful of what you're doing, where you're trying to go? Yeah,
so I've had loads of ups and downs. So I started off, to give you a background, like I did martial arts from a very young age. I got a black belt in karate and did other martial arts. Really enjoyed it. Became a personal trainer and a coach and started learning about how to get fitter, stronger, healthier. But before I got to black belt, I was really heavy. And I was, at age 14, 95 kilos. I was a pretty big boy. Which is
14.
Yeah, that's hefty for that age, right? And I wanted to lose weight. So I just went on a journey to understand how to lose weight, put in the work. Granted, I was young, yeah. And then learn how to train, learn how to eat properly, etc. Then I started working and then building a business. And I worked every hour you can imagine. Anyone ever saw me working when I was younger, I worked every hour you could work.
How would you sleep then?
I just ate, slept and trained. Yeah. So I used to work from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Go home, eat and sleep, right? So I grafted hard. And obviously when you're really young, you can get away with it more, right? As you get older, you know you can't. And then as I started training more and then just pushing the limits of what I can do, and then sometimes you try and get away with more than you can. And I started getting loads of injuries. I had so many problems, even got some health problems, because I lost sight of why I was doing it in the first place. I was just like grinding the hell out of it to build my business and improve in every way. But that's when I realized I wasn't looking at the basics anymore. I thought I knew it all. And then after a while, you have to re-educate yourself. So I went on a journey to learn from the best experts in the world. I spent over £100,000 easily on coaches, mentors, courses on how to optimize your health and fitness. And that's why I coach people to do, because I've learned as much as I can about the systems that build health and fitness. And I've spent a lot of time re-educating myself and my life, building habits and systems that make it automated. So that then everything I do becomes part of life. I don't think about it. I just do it every day. And that's when it's easier, right?
Yeah, I think that does make it a lot more streamlined. I mean, it's like decision fatigue, isn't it? So if you can just remove that away from you and just set up systems and processes in place, it just happens.
Yeah.
you're more likely to succeed because you don't have to think about it all of the time.
Exactly.
It just happens. Like Atomic Habits, isn't it? James Clear book.
Yeah. So you need to be able to associate it with something, because habits is all association. And one of the things James Clear talks about is if you habit stack or do something whilst doing something else, your brain associates that with that. So for example, if you want to run, what's the first thing you have to do to run?
Get outside, or get dressed. Get your stuff ready.
How do you get dressed?
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Put your trainers on.
Yes.
Right. So if you put your trainers by the door, you make that the first habit. You associate that with going for a run. Right. So all you're thinking about is, I'm just going to put my running shoes on. I'm just going to step out the door. You create association so that you do it so many times that you just see the running shoes, you put them on. Cool, going for a run. The more times you let yourself negotiate with yourself, and this is where procrastination comes into it. You know, you're procrastinating because you're not using your instincts of what you actually want, like we spoke about earlier. You're just doing what you feel like in the moment. And a very good quote from Mike Tyson, which is powerful. Everyone loves Mike Tyson, right? You have to train your mind to be stronger than your feelings, otherwise you'll lose yourself. Because your feelings are getting in the way of doing what you know you need to do and what you want to do. You know, so I found that to be really powerful, to go, right, if you can't control your mind, you can't control your future. So you need to get a grasp of that. And again, I help clients do that because that's why it's one of the 6 pillars. If you don't master your mindset, at some point you have a problem. You know, you'll get motivation, you get excited, you'll make progress, you'll feel good because it's new, it's exciting. You get dopamine, woo, something new, right? And then after a while, if your mind isn't focused on it, you don't know how to control it or bring it back, you won't keep going. You'll find a new distraction or a new exciting shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, that's it. It is that,
exactly,
isn't it? Shiny object syndrome. And I think that's probably why people fall off of these healthy kicks after 2 weeks, isn't it? Because then it's like, okay, I'm a bit bored of that now, and they haven't set up a system to just keep going and continue that regardless, without thinking about it.
Exactly.
You lose energy about it. So if someone's on their commute right now and they need to change to make healthier decisions, what do you say to them?
Is this like the definitive statement you would give them?
Yes. Or what could be some things that they could probably be thinking about, or perhaps put in place to eventually become a healthier person, or their identity changes to that person they perhaps want to be? Yeah,
I would definitely think about the identity you want, like the future you want to create. If you haven't done this already, spend time sitting down and mapping out what you want your future to look like. And the more you do that, the more you'll create habits that associate with that, because your brain will want to do what you pay attention to, right? So if you put more time and energy into that, especially if you incorporate visualization, because memory is based off of mainly images. There's a reason why you can remember someone's face a lot easier than their name. Yeah, because it's an image. So if you can visualize what you want your life to look like, who you want to become, you've got a much higher chance of success of getting there, because your brain is creating the images of what you want. Just like if you watch TV growing up, you look at your idols. Let's say you watch Muhammad Ali and you're like, I want to be a boxer, because you see how he boxes, how vibrant he is, how energetic he is. And you start building that image in your mind. If you build the image of how you want to be, spend the time doing it, you'll create a better future. And the best question I would encourage you to ask yourself is, if you want to be a certain person, let's say it's a millionaire, or you want to be having abs or massive biceps or whatever, what would the future version of you do? How would they act? How would they speak? What would they do every day? How would they eat? How would they sleep? Who would they spend time with? How do they make decisions? That's how you got to think about it. If you want to be a different person, you have to become that person before you are them. Exactly what I mean by that is make the decisions every day that that person would make. And it will be hard, you know? And that's how you make change. Like we said earlier, doing hard things, doing the things that you don't want to do, that you know is uncomfortable, that you know is going to be scary, challenging, you might fear it, you might get anxiety, sure. We all do that at times. But if you know that you really want to be that person, just do it.
I think that's really powerful, the visualization part, and I think that's why people love the vision boards, isn't it? Because you can see it every day, and that's really, really powerful. I am a big believer in that too, visualizing where you want to be, the person you want to be and become, and also just keep telling yourself it all the time, because I think that's really powerful too. So it's really good. It's a nice breakdown you've done there. So we've got a couple of quick fire rounds.
Okay. Then
we're done. So, most overrated health trend right now?
I want to say Ozempic.
Well, yeah. When you break it down like that, I think you're right there. So Ozempic, sort of build the habits rather than the quick fixes. Okay. Most underrated habit that nobody talks about?
Work on your mindset. Controlling your mindset practices like mindfulness. I think it seems woo-woo and boring, and it's not exciting, is it? You know, dopamine from that, but that is what is going to change your future.
Yeah, there's so much talk about like your credibility, your assets, and what that is. Certainly, because in a digital world where everything can be taken away from you literally as soon as the power goes out. So, and one thing
I'm screwed.
Everything, the whole lot, everything. But one thing I always say to my guys, and also my family and such, whenever they ask, is self-development, nobody can take that away from you.
Yeah.
So you read a book, nobody can take that away from you. That's lodged in, done. Can't go away. So just keep compounding that. Just keep developing that all of the time.
I talk about internal motivation versus external motivation, or intrinsic, extrinsic, right? Extrinsic is you want to be motivated because you've got a friend to go to the gym with. So they're helping you do that, right? Intrinsic is you want it so bad that it burns inside. They're the people who make real change because they really want it inside. They're the people who've done real deep work on what they want to achieve in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years. I did an exercise once that asks you when you want to die. Yeah. And then it's quite a powerful exercise. I recommend doing it, where you look at how long you want to live and you reverse engineer each year from there and what you want to do each year. And you focus on, right, what do I need to do to achieve that? And you just go to work.
Yeah, that is very powerful.
So that's your internal driver to go, what do I want to do? Spend the time doing it. Think about what you really want inside. When I say that, I don't mean what social media wants you to have. Like, you don't need to have a Lamborghini if you don't want one, right? You don't need to have a penthouse if you don't. Obviously, great if you do. Go for it. Who doesn't, right? But people think that they have to have one because social media dictates it, not because they actually want it. Some people just want to live on a beach with their family and just drink wine and eat food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants that life. So you got to think about, what do you actually want to do every day?
That's their version of the Lamborghini, isn't
it?
Really?
It could be like time with your family. It could be, raising your kids, whatever you really enjoy doing, building your business. But you've got to do you. Can't think of a better way to put it.
Yeah, no, definitely, no, it's very true. And you've got to find yourself to find out what you really like and don't like as well.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be forced into something that you really actually don't want to do. So.
Yeah, I was told that once, that one of the best ways to figure out what you want is figure out what you don't want first.
Yeah.
Because then that's already out of your head.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, very powerful, yeah. Well, Byron, thank you so much for coming on again. It's been brilliant. Yeah, it's absolutely flown by. That was a really good conversation. So thank you.
My pleasure, mate. Should we get round 3 in again?
Yeah, round 3. Yeah, in a few months' time. Thanks very much, mate. Cheers. I appreciate it.
Thank you, mate.